You and all of your traveling companions have fought hard to the top of a mountain. The mountain that you've been fearing the arrival to the peak of. As you look out over the landscape, the sky goes from a hazy blue to a dark red. As you see materializing, drawing closer, the form of a beast of unimaginable, terrible appearance. It opens its mouth.
So playing D&D, you create a character that can be pretty much anything that you want, but you create a story that you then bring to the table and sit down with 3 or 4 or 5 other people. And with those people, you create a narrative throughout playing. And as you're doing that, the entire party is creating the story that you're telling as you're going. So everyone sitting at the table is involved in creating the story.
I think of it as a very structured and gamified way of telling stories. It's like playing pretend. I can say that I started playing games or tabletop games when I was a kid, and they'd come in a box that was all colorful and flashy, and it made them seem appealing. But much of the time I would rather be pretending that I was like walking in the creek with fairies or whatever. Got together and we started playing, and we started out in a sort of like a castle of a vampire, but he wasn't really a vampire. He was like sort of delusional that he was a vampire, but he just thought vampires were really cool and had found ways of magic that enabled him to do vampire-like things.
My GM is a really big fan of Magic the Gathering, and he created a story within one of the planes of Magic the Gathering, and we went through a whole thing where we got into legal trouble, had a lawsuit brought against us, and then fought against the angels that were supposed to be the lawyers that we were fighting against. It was a whole thing. It was really fun. But just random things like that, that you can just create out of thin air. Does it make sense? No. But is it fun? God, yes.
All the times that I spent playing with some of my buddies, sitting around the television and playing 007 GoldenEye in high school, and just ready to pass out. We'd played for so many hours, but then it's like, one more match. I got to get you. You can't beat me. I can't go out getting beat that bad, So all of the nonsense that happened, but between us, just a lot of good times bonding with friends and family members, both over the table and even in front of a screen.
I started gaming when I was probably 6. Vividly remember the first time I felt like a gamer was when I was playing Ocarina of Time on N64, and I was in the Fire Temple, and I loved that moment. I remember that moment vividly, and it's one of the many reasons that I play games.
This made me think about magic, sort of a looser definition of magic. It's made me think about culture and the way that inside the worlds that they inhabit, and culture like of like the people at the table and how they interact. And I was already playful and goofy, but it's made me even more like, open to playing.
From a pretty early age, I used to watch my brother play Fallout a lot. I'd just sit in his room and bother him and watch him play video games all day. Minecraft, like all my friends played it, and I really wanted to play it with them. So I got like a really crappy laptop for Christmas, and I played Minecraft on it with them.
I play Magic the Gathering pretty heavily. I play Warhammer now. Play a lot of board games, and also I play a ton of video games. I think the game that's influenced me the most has to be, just simply based on amount of time spent, World of Warcraft. Some friends and I have jokingly referred to it, so a doctorate is 10,000 hours of work, and we refer to our time in WoW in terms of doctorates. And so I'm at 1.5 doctorates, if that lets you in on it, how much I've played WoW.
It's like an escape in a way, because you load in and you're in this entirely different world, and you're a different person, you're a different character, and you can live through them, and you don't have to deal with what's happening inside your head at that moment.
It's scientifically proven that gaming has can have a positive effect on people, because it allows you to get out of a world that is really hard to live in.
I use it as an outlet a lot, because I have a lot going on in my actual life, and it's really helpful to have that. All games I've played have kind of influenced me. Have like a lot of like mental issues, and I play video games, and it kind of soothes, you know, the feelings of like anxiety and feeling alone. I feel like every game I've ever played has been helpful with that.
Usually turns out to be a pretty good way to kind of reset and get your mind off things, and then sometimes to be able to tackle a problem that maybe you were facing.
Without games, I can't imagine personally my life, but I know this, I would have struggled a lot more to make friends, and I would have struggled a lot more to feel confident, because, you know, the ways that I feel confident and in friendships and things like that is through playing games. I think as a whole, the gaming community could definitely be more inclusive. I think that there are aspects of it that are very inclusive. And there are other aspects of it that are very big gatekeepers. There are aspects of it that don't want people who don't look like them in the spaces.
I don't think that it's always inclusive. I think that there are people that are gatekeepy about things. They're like, it has to be done the old way, or if there are changes made, then that's just like PC bullcrap or whatever.
I think I feel pretty isolated when I play games online. I don't have a group to play with. I play by myself, and it can be really hard to communicate with my team, because they mainly consist of guys, and when you speak, there's always, you know, there's going to be misogyny online when you play video games and you're a woman. It's just going to happen, so no, I don't think it's very inclusive in that way. But I think video game creators are trying to make it an inclusive community, and a safe place.
There's still a long way to go. It's still difficult to get folks to consider other people's feelings and whether or not they're having a good time.
There's also, I think there's a lot of toxicity in online video gaming, especially with like the like first person shooter games and stuff like that. There's a lot of like bullying.
I grew up with a group of guys that were really good friends with me, and we played video games every day, and I think the culture of video games is really harmful, because I watched somebody that I knew all my life turn into somebody that I didn't like a very misogynistic person, very transphobic person. I watched a lot of guys that I grew up with and played video games with turn into that. So I love video games. I love making friends, but I feel like you have to watch out because some people were raised in that culture, and sometimes it's not healthy.
When something's going on that you know is not right, or that you at least even think, man, this doesn't seem right to me, don't let it keep going on. Just don't be afraid to say, hey, let's do something different. Let's try something different to people. It's scary, it's intimidating, but I just believe it's the right thing to do. So I've spent a lot of time over the years to encouraging other people that I game with into being good people, good gamers, but also good people.
There's also the issue of the perception of people who don't like video games, or kids getting around talking about demon princes and elven demigods and forest gnomes and stuff and fairies, and are like, don't rot your brain with that stuff. And I mean, you can get too consumed by it, I guess, but I mean, as long as it's making you happy and it isn't hurting anybody else, that's fine.
A lot of people think video games are like, they deteriorate your mind, or an old governor we had in Kentucky blamed a mass shooting in Kentucky on video games. He said that it was video games that made people like this. And it's not. It's just like another creative outlet that people turn to. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I would imagine that folks probably very much underestimate how many people play games. There's games out there for you, both in the tabletop world and the video game world. There's games out there for most anybody.
As far as if I have faced any stereotypes when it comes to gaming, I mean, I am a stereotype when it comes to gaming. I work in IT and I play tons of games and I play Magic the Gathering and all of those things. So I definitely am the stereotype, but I think that stereotype is definitely shifting. I think it's normal for anybody to say that they play games, right? Like, most people play some form of game. They play, whether it's Animal Crossing on the Switch, whether it's Candy Crush on Facebook or whatever. My mom plays online mahjong games and stuff like that. She loves those. I wish she wouldn't, because she gets viruses from it. But, she plays them. And I think everyone plays games now. It's just whether or not they identify as a gamer.
The fact that a lot of the spaces where gaming is happening have opened up and put an emphasis on inclusivity, it's pushing that gatekeeping stuff out of the way. I think that it has invited a lot of people to come in and find some community and some camaraderie and friends, and it's just like getting around and telling a story together, making a story together.
Almost all my closest friends I either met directly through gaming or really became close because of our interest in different types of gaming.
Personally, I think that games can empower you to meet new people, to join new communities, to branch out from where you are.
I made a lot of friends through video games, and I feel like it's a good way for people to bond through shared experience. And though I didn't keep a lot of the friends that I made through gaming, I feel like there's always the opportunity to make more, and it's always there. There's a lot of people like you that play video games, and that's always going to be there. There's always going to be people out there like you. I feel like I have a place there, and for that moment, I have somewhere to be, and I don't have to explain why I'm there or existing there. I'm just welcomed automatically.
And the power of telling stories with each other and playing with each other and being playful with each other is you can't really quantify how important that is. As this terrible beast falls to the ground after a long fight in which you and your friends have come to the brink of death, some of you dead and resurrected from the powerful spells of your healers. You look, some with hazy eyes, some with tears, and know the problem has been solved for now. Rich people are playing games with us, and I want it to stop now. I'm tired of not passing go and going to jail and not collecting my $200. Next question.
I would like my bag of gold, a pound of sauce, and a poke of backer.
Can you talk for me?
I'm talking a lot right now, like so much that you can't shut me up. I'm still talking. Should I still continue talking? Okay.
That's how you get a PhD in WoW.